about the significance of that for you and what you had to do, if you want to share it with people, because it's very interesting what you had to do kind of in the aftermath of this as well.
Sure. We're recording this interview on May 23rd of 2023.
Yes, 24 years.
Yeah, this is the anniversary of that night in Kansas City. So Owen was up on the catwalk. He was in a harness. He had stepped off the catwalk and was hanging by a rope. The plan was to lower him into the ring. At some point while he was up there just hanging, we were in a tape roll, and a release device released and dropped him about 80 feet to the ring. So Owen slammed down in the ring about 20 feet from me. As the night went on, well, we finished the show, and then I was asked to go do an investigation, to go up to the catwalk with the police and photograph the harness and the rigging and everything that happened up there, and talk to the rigger and provide Vince McMahon and the lawyers with a briefing on what happened and why it happened. So that was my night in Kansas City, and it was a tough one.
Yeah. Obviously the worst night that you've ever had in the business, without question.
Yeah. Owen was a really good person, and it was sad to see him die like that. It was sad to see anybody die like that. We knew that the production was off the rails. We were heading in that direction. We just didn't know when or how. The specifics were still to be determined. As Owen was in the ring and they were doing CPR on him, one of our handheld cameramen came up to me and said, "I never thought it would be him." Left unsaid was, we all knew somebody was going to have that problem. We just didn't know where or when or how.
Did you think that it was just kind of going into a dangerous kind of, there's a lot of stunts from jumping off Titantrons and things like that then, wasn't there? And you just feel that something was going to go wrong at some point.
Yeah, we were moving into all of that. We had several phases of troubles in the production, starting, I'm thinking 94-ish, probably, WrestleMania. Well, if we go to the steroid period, we had a show in Bushkill Falls where a truss broke, or a span set holding a truss up broke. So we had this long truss that goes across the arena, held up with 2 points or 2 ropes, 2 chains and motors, and then span sets, which are just nylon rings. One of those span sets broke, the truss dropped, hit a camera platform and a camera and a cameraman, caused a big injury there. About a month later, we had a truss in Liberty, New York, that was being taken out or lifted up in the arena, which was really just a high school gym, and it flipped. It flipped 180 degrees as it was going out and dropped equipment down to the floor. Both of those accidents happened pre-show, so there was nobody in the arena other than us, but they told us there was a problem. Then we had an issue at WrestleMania 11 in Hartford, where a long truss, the width of a hockey arena, snapped in the middle as it was being lifted up with 2 people on it, and they were both seriously injured. So we had these 3 major rigging errors. We addressed that by getting a different rigging company, by hiring a company called Bandit Lights, which was top-notch in the industry, and they kind of ship-shaped us on a lot of our rigging. Then we had issues with barricades breaking, with the stuff being thrown at the ring. This would have been mid to late 90s. The company was getting into a very edgy product. People were jamming against barricades. They were falling over because they had been cut or they were badly rigged or managed. So we were having a lot of injuries in the arena. We also had a lot of people throwing things at the arena, at the ring. So we had people being injured that way. And we were intentionally bringing talent in and out of the ring through the crowd. So the crowd would jam around them and push and shove, and they'd be pushed and shoved back, and there were always injuries there. So we had these 3 things happening in waves or stages. And then we got into production stunts, like the Owen Hart stunt. There had been others too. We didn't have a stunt coordinator. We were just flying by the seat of our pants. And it was very clear that at one point, something was going to go very wrong.
Yeah. And did I read right that you had to explain to Vince McMahon in the aftermath of this how it had happened with your photos?
Yeah. So I did the initial investigation with Owen that night, went up to the catwalks, took all the pictures, um, went to the police lab with the police, with the ID officers, and shot the harness. And then that night drove halfway to the next town, which was Kansas City. I think we were going to St. Louis. Stopped at a marina the next morning and bought hardware that was similar to what was used in the stunt. Went to the next arena. Vince was looking for me as soon as I arrived. I'd go in to explain to him what had happened. He didn't want to look at the hardware. We were getting pictures processed, so that was at the lab. He didn't want to see any pictures. He just wanted to know what happened, what went wrong, what did you see? So I had to give him a quick briefing on that. And then I was pulled into a phone call with our lawyers. And then the pictures came back, and that was that.